Sheila, I got to tell you, I think that was one of your very best reports ever. And the story of Crete should be front page news, but of course it won't be because it goes completely against the mainstream media narrative. But here's the thing, when it comes to the science element of the, let's call it the Crete miracle, what's the deal? Why did this town do so well by ignoring the advice of the health bureaucrats?
You know, they did so well specifically because they are so far from the city. So they're so far from the tattletales. And you couldn't, I don't think, get local cops to enforce the mandates on them because they have to live and work in these communities. So I think what saved them was just distance and a sense of community, and they're tied to their faith. All those things that sort of make rural Alberta is so great. They just decided from the very beginning, no, we don't live here at the end of the road so that people in Edmonton can tell us how to live our lives. And so they rejected the fear, they rejected the division, and they just carried on the way they always did. And as I say in my report, the media was cheering for a catastrophe. The catastrophe never came, so then the media stopped paying attention to Crete because they were counter to the narrative that the locker-downers in the mainstream media and the politicians wanted everybody to believe. And for them, what I think is most important about Crete is with their 35% vaccination rate, I think that is the most accurate snapshot of how many people in this province would have gotten vaccinated if there weren't government coercion involved. Because in Crete, you could just choose to get vaccinated, but you didn't need to get vaccinated to watch your kids play hockey, to go to the gym, to participate in everyday life, to go out for a burger, whatever. You didn't have to live that way. So if you took coercion out of the equation, I think Crete serves as a barometer of how many people would get vaccinated if they had the choice and not force.
You know what? That's an excellent point, Sheila. And I'd go even further. Government coercion is one thing in terms of shutting down restaurants and arenas and movie theaters. You can survive that. I'm more concerned about the corporate coercion we've seen in the last several months, i.e. get the jabs or you lose your jobs. Sheila, people have mortgages to pay. They got to put groceries on the table. When you are at risk of enduring what I call an economic death sentence, yeah, I bet you there's a huge percentage of people that took it simply because of that. Your thoughts?
Again, Crete got everything right in this respect when everybody else got everything wrong. We've seen basically across the board chambers of commerce, which are supposed to be representative of the local economy, the small businessman. We've seen the CFIB, the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, not stand up against any of this stuff. All they've ever really asked for was a bailout. They never resisted business closures or vaccine passports, anything like that. They just thought, well, if the government's going to close us, they should pay us. That's the opposite of independence. So they might want to take that out of their name when you're reliant on the government for subsidies so you can keep your doors open. But in Crete, it was the Chamber of Commerce that facilitated the testing, that showed the world that there was another way. Instead of Chamber of Commerce agreeing with the lockdowns, this Chamber of Commerce said, we didn't lock down, we didn't force any businesses to do anything. Now let's see if we got it right. Let's see if the science supports the decisions we made. They're the ones that did this. It wasn't just a citizens' initiative. The Chamber of Commerce organized all of this, which makes them a complete and total anomaly in the entire country. And their local government, same thing. The local government said, we're not making anybody in Crete live by the edicts of Edmonton or Ottawa. We're the local government. We'll decide what happens here. And we are obligated to listen to the people who elected us. So whereas all these other institutions all across the country failed to represent the people, in Crete, the institutions we expect to represent people actually did the right thing.
Hey folks, that was an excerpt from my show, Rebel Roundup. Now, to get the full meal deal, why not go to Rebel News Plus, sign up, and never miss a Rebel News Plus show in the future.